Come with me on a journey, not to a distant, untouched wilderness, but to a landscape shaped by human hands and dreams, California. Here, in this land of golden sunshine and towering ambitions, a quiet, almost imperceptible shift is taking place. For generations, these cities have been beacons of growth, their very foundations seeming to rise ever upward, defying gravity itself. But even the most enduring landscapes are subject to the slow, inexorable forces of change. The tides that once only rose are beginning to recede, revealing something new, something unexpected. We are about to witness a transformation, a subtle rebalancing in ecosystems that were thought to be in a state of perpetual expansion. In the shadows of iconic landmarks and across sprawling valleys, a new story is unfolding. It is a story not of sudden collapse, but of a quiet, creeping change, like a mist rolling in from the ocean to blanket the hills. The very ground beneath these communities, once considered the most valuable on Earth, is beginning to move in ways few could have predicted. Let us explore these urban habitats, these concrete jungles and sprawling suburbs, to understand this remarkable phenomenon. We will travel from the foggy northern coasts to the sun-drenched southern plains, observing the subtle signs of this great adjustment. What we find may challenge our understanding of permanence and value in this most dynamic of states. The story of California is, as ever, one of constant, mesmerizing change. If you want to stay informed about the latest trends and stories shaping California and beyond, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. Your support helps us bring you more insightful content every week. Our journey begins in San Francisco, a city sculpted by nature and human ingenuity. Its hills rise steeply from the Pacific, often shrouded in a soft, ethereal fog that drifts through its famous valleys. For as long as one can remember, the ascent here has been relentless, not just of its topography, but of the value placed upon every square foot of its soil. To have a foothold here was to have reached a pinnacle, a nest high above the competitive fray, secured against the elements. The iconic cable cars climb, as they always have, towards the sky. But listen closely. Beyond the clang of the bells and the cry of the gulls, there is a new sound, or rather, a new quietness. The frantic upward scramble has softened. In these densely packed neighborhoods, from the painted ladies of Alamo Square to the serene avenues of the Presidio, a subtle retreat is underway. The invisible lines that determine worth are being redrawn, not with a dramatic flourish, but with the quiet inevitability of an outgoing time. What was once an unstoppable climb now shows signs of a gentle, surprising descent. We travel south to a vast urban ecosystem of almost unimaginable scale, Los Angeles. From the air, it appears as a sprawling, shimmering tapestry woven across a great basin, hemmed in by the San Gabriel Mountains to the east and the Pacific Ocean to the west. This is a territory of dreams, a mosaic of distinct communities, each with its own character, its own pulse. From the sun-bleached shores of Malibu to the glittering boulevards of Hollywood, the narrative has long been one of glamour, expansion, and ever-increasing desire. Here, too, the climate is changing. The relentless heat of the market, which once seemed as constant as the Southern California sun, is beginning to cool in certain pockets of this vast habitat. In neighborhoods once caught in a feverish climb, a new equilibrium is being sought. The story of this place, written in neon and celluloid, is having a new, unexpected chapter added to its chronicles. The distant mountains, so often hazy in the afternoon light, now stand witness to a slow, silent reevaluation of the land that stretches out before them. Now, we venture into the very crucible of modern invention, San Jose, the heart of Silicon Valley. This is a landscape defined not by natural peaks, but by monuments of glass and steel, the headquarters of global giants. For decades, this valley has been a supercharged environment, where ideas born in garages could reshape the world, and where the economic ecosystem followed an almost vertical trajectory. The energy here has been palpable, a constant hum of processing power and ambition, driving the value of the surrounding territory to astronomical heights. Yet, even in this epicenter of forward momentum, a pause has been initiated. The relentless upward pressure, a force as powerful as any algorithm, has begun to ease. In the manicured suburbs that house the architects of our future, a quiet correction is taking place. The digital gold rush that defined this region for so long is experiencing a subtle but significant shift. It is a reminder that even in a world built on logic and code, the ancient cyclical patterns of rise and fall still hold sway. The market, it seems, is rebooting. We turn our attention inland to California's capital, Sacramento. This is a city defined by water, nestled at the confluence of the Sacramento and American rivers. Its history is rooted in the gold rush, a time of explosive growth and fortune-seeking. In more recent times, its landscape of leafy avenues and government buildings has represented a different kind of gold stability. It has been a haven, a place of steady growth, drawing life from the fertile Central Valley that surrounds it like a great green sea. But the currents here are changing. The steady flow that once defined its real estate market has become more turbulent, more unpredictable. Along the riverbanks and through the historic streets of Old Sacramento, the narrative of constant appreciation is being subtly rewritten. The golden fields that stretch to the horizon are witnessing a recalibration within the city's limits. What was once a predictable migration pattern is now evolving, as the economic landscape of the capital city begins to mirror the ever-changing course of the rivers that gave it life. Across the bay from San Francisco lies its sister city, Oakland. A place of fierce independence and vibrant culture, its identity is forged in the docks and cranes that line its bustling waterfront. This has long been a city of industry, art, and community, a mosaic of diverse neighborhoods that pulse with a unique energy. From the serene waters of Lake Merritt to the redwood-forested hills above, Oakland has been on its own trajectory, a story of resurgence and growing desirability in the shadow of its more famous neighbor. Now, a new chapter unfolds. The rapid ascent in value, which had begun to reshape the city's very character, is experiencing a period of calm. The powerful economic winds that blew across the bay, driving prices ever higher, have lessened in their intensity. On the streets where murals tell tales of struggle and pride, a different story is quietly being painted, one of market adjustment. The great cranes that dominate the skyline, symbols of constant motion and heavy lifting, now stand watch over a housing ecosystem that is finding a new, more grounded level. We travel deep into the geographic center of the state, to the vast, fertile plains of the Central Valley and the city of Fresno. This is California's agricultural heartland, a place where the scale of food production is almost beyond comprehension. The landscape is one of endless orchards and fields, punctuated by a city that has long served as the hub for this immense productivity. It is a world away from the coastal metropolises, a habitat with its own rhythms, dictated by the seasons of planting and harvest. It is perhaps surprising to find this city on our journey. For a long time, it represented a bastion of affordability in a state known for its expense. But it too was caught in the great updraft, its own market heating up under the relentless California sun. And now, it too is experiencing the cooling trend. The forces of supply and demand, as fundamental as the need for water in this arid land, are shifting. In this hub of agriculture, the seeds of a market correction have taken root and are beginning to sprout. Our journey takes us east of Los Angeles, into the expanse known as the Inland Empire, to the city of Riverside. Here, the air is drier, the sun more intense, The landscape is a dramatic mix of arid plains, citrus groves, and the imposing silhouettes of Mount Rubidoux and the San Bernardino Mountains. This region has long been an escape valve for the coast, a place where the dream of a home with a yard could still be realized, fueled by the desert winds of expansion and opportunity. That expansion, which once seemed as boundless as the desert sky, is now encountering new frontiers. The very winds that carried waves of new residents inland now whisper of a change. In the shadow of the historic Mission Inn, a symbol of Riverside's enduring past, a new economic reality is dawning. The once feverish pace of development and price growth has slowed to a more deliberate rhythm. The story of falling prices has arrived here, slowly but surely, like a shadow creeping across the valley floor as the sun begins to set behind the mountains. Further south in the Central Valley, we arrive in Bakersfield, a city built on different kinds of riches. Here, the landscape is dotted not with orchards, but with the ceaseless, rhythmic nodding of oil pumps, drawing black gold from deep within the earth. It is a land of wide-open skies and a stark, powerful beauty, where the economy has long ebbed and flowed with the price of oil. This city has always understood the nature of boom and bust, a cycle as natural to it as the turning of the seasons. Once again, a cycle is turning. The housing market, which had experienced its own kind of boom, is now feeling the downward pull of a bust. The forces at play are complex, a mixture of local economics and the same statewide cooling trend we have observed elsewhere. On the plains where heat shimmers above the asphalt and oil derricks stand like silent sentinels, the value of shelter is being reassessed. The city's long history with fluctuating fortunes has prepared it for this moment, another chapter in its story of resilience and adaptation in a challenging environment. We return north, to the intricate network of waterways that form the California Delta and the inland port city of Stockton. This is a city defined by its relationship with water, a vital hub connecting the agricultural heartland to the wider world. Its deep water channel is a lifeline, allowing massive ships to navigate far inland. The surrounding landscape is a patchwork of wetlands and farmland, a rich and complex ecosystem that has supported the city for generations. This city has known hardship before. It has weathered economic storms that have tested its foundations. And now, it finds itself once again navigating turbulent waters. The housing market, which had shown signs of a powerful recovery, is now among those experiencing the fastest decline. The channels that bring commerce to the city are now paralleled by economic currents pulling values downward. In this city of waterways and agricultural wealth, the tide of the real estate market is demonstrably and rapidly going out. Our final destination is Santa Ana, nestled in the densely populated heart of Orange County. This is a city with a deep history, its roots visible in the beautifully preserved Spanish colonial revival architecture of its downtown. It is a vibrant hub of culture, a community of incredible diversity and energy, standing in contrast to the manicured coastal enclaves for which the county is famous. For many, Santa Ana has been a vital center of opportunity and community life, a place of authenticity and connection. And it is here, in this historic and lively city, that our journey reaches a suspenseful note. The forces of market correction are powerfully at work. Among the top 10, Santa Ana's position is a stark indicator of how widespread this phenomenon has become, touching even the core of the famously resilient Orange County. The quiet shift we first observed in the foggy hills of the north has become a clear and present reality here in the sun-drenched south. The story of California's changing landscape is not a distant tale. It is happening here, now. Our journey through the Golden State has come to an end, but the story is far from over. We have witnessed a quiet yet profound transformation across landscapes once defined by unrelenting growth. From the iconic bays to the agricultural heartlands, the very definition of value is in flux. This is not a cataclysm, but a correction, a natural rebalancing in a complex ecosystem that has, for a time, been pushed to its absolute limits. The rhythms of nature, of ebb and flow, have found their way into the very foundations of these great cities. What we have seen is a reminder that nothing in this world is permanent. The towering redwoods grow for 1,000 years, but even they are part of a cycle. The mountains are weathered by wind and rain, and so too, the communities and economies that we build upon the land are subject to these same, timeless forces of change. The California dream, once synonymous with an endless upward trajectory, is perhaps evolving into something more nuanced, more sustainable, and ultimately, more in tune with the world around it. As the fog rolls back in over the coast and the sun sets over the vast inland valleys, we are left to contemplate what comes next. What new habitats will emerge from this shift? What opportunities will be born from this recalibration? The story of California continues to be written, not in straight, predictable lines, but in the intricate, ever-changing patterns of life itself. And it remains, as always, a world full of wonder for those who take the time to observe.